Hello, Senpai Recap is here. Please consider subscribing and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you are always updated with our uploads. Taosuke Rokudo is a first-year student at Aomori High, a school full of delinquents. He is often bullied by his classmates due to his incompatibility with their behavior, the only exception being his two good friends, who are also social outcasts, Masaru Colonel Hinamoto and Kauta Chief Kijima. Frustrated at the way they are treated, the three wish they could stand up and claim the fun, peaceful school life of their dreams. When the losers gather at Rokudo's place, he receives a mysterious package from his long-deceased grandfather. Inside the box are a priest's uniform and a mysterious scroll passed down through his family since the Japanese Heian period, a scroll said to possess the power to save him from impending danger. Upon holding the scroll, a sudden glow emanates, leaving a strange mark on Rokudo's forehead. The next day, on his way to Aomori High School, he gets punched in the face by someone who wants some money. However, the girl tells the guys to stop picking on Rokudo. In class, Inuma and Takeru are about to pick on Rokudo again, but Inuma's girlfriend, Tsubaki Takabana, tells him to stop and pick on his loser pals instead. Later, at the boys' bathroom, Tsubaki even apologizes to Rokudo and promises not to pick on him again. The friends believe the Onmyaji power must have some sort of effect, as they notice bad girls are noticing Rokudo. Then Inuma confronts Rokudo and accuses him of doing something to Tsubaki because her phone wallpaper is now Rokudo's face. Rokudo then remembers Grandpa's words about the scroll. It makes you attract bad girls. Panicked, he runs away but bumps into Rana Himawari, a bad girl who is just fresh beating the hell out of a group of delinquent guys. Her hand is covered with blood, adding to Rokudo's shock. The next day, Rana becomes a transfer student in Rokudo's class. Takeru tries to act tough to find out more about her, but she ignores him. When Rokudo asks, she eagerly and gracefully responds. However, when Takeru punches Rokudo, Rana whacks his head with her table. As a result, he ends up in the hospital and is unable to remember much. Even if he does recall, he becomes traumatized by her monstrous strength. Later, Inuma meets a friend who is also beaten by Rana. The man was scared of how brutal Rana was and is now terrified of her. Meanwhile, Rokudo can't take it anymore and tries to run away, but his friends don't want to be victims of Inuma's thug's revenge. Plus, is he going to abandon a girl? Then Rana appears and apologizes for what happened in the classroom, but Rokudo tells her that he is going to protect her from all the bullies that are in the high school. However, Rana misinterprets that and vows to slaughter all the delinquents he hates tomorrow morning. The next day, more bad chicks draw closer to Rokudo. They only leave because the top apex predator, Rana, is showing her foul mood. She greets him cheerfully, and Rokudo asks her if she remembers all the promises they made before, and she answers yes. Later, Inuma confronts Rokudo. He asks him how all the girls are siding with him, and he vows to beat himself up. The friends get scared and think Rokudo should seek Rana's help. Rokudo is about to do so, but he notices Rana is a bit messed up. Several delinquents approached her, and although they were easily taken care of, she kept her promise to him by not fighting back, or at least not making any fatal moves. This is when Rokudo realizes his worth as a man. In order to be manly, he will settle this himself. This means calling out to Inuma and facing the delinquent himself. But deep down, he is nervous and scared. Inuma gave him a chance to punch first, but his punch was weak. So Rokudo gets a taste of what a real punch feels like. When Inuma says they should be grateful to be alive despite being at the bottom of the ladder, this is when Rokudo snaps and disagrees. Then here comes Rana. His friends told her about this and needed her help. However, as she is still sticking to her promise, she can only see her anger as she watches Inuma throw more punches at Rokudo. Despite all that, Rokudo won't fall. But at his limit, it was when Rokudo sought out Rana's help. In a flash, she jumps in to punch the aggressor. It's like Inuma's life flashed before his eyes. Once a weakling, he was bullied for being afraid of thunder and lightning. And now Inuma has fallen. Afterward, Inuma might be fine in the hospital, but he has no regrets, because Rokudo isn't as weak as he thinks he is. The next day, Rokudo and his friends admire the kindness of their class rep, Ms. Wei Chuyukuza. But the friends also thought that Rokudo's powers didn't really match the good girls. Later, Enuma calls Rokudo to hang out and eat with him. He also introduces his other delinquent minions from another school. Isn't one of them the guy who tried to mug him? However, Rokudo pretends he never met him before, and they all become friends over ramen. When it's over, Enuma warns him that he is being targeted by Amori's top delinquent, Osata. True enough, Osanada's minions approach Rokudo to tell him to meet the big boss. Enuma asks Rokudo's next action. Will he run or fight? If Rokudo is going to fight, Enuma will stand up for him. However, his loser friends want him to rethink this. Rokudo notes that he won't run away anymore, and all this happened because he stood his ground. The friends agree to stand by him and live out their normal school lives. Of course, Enuma won't just be on Rokudo's side. He's got Rena, too. Rokudo will settle this as he learns the shocking truth that Osanada is actually a girl, Sayuri Osanada. The next day, Osanada went into Rokudo's class just to pick a fight with him. The spell isn't working, and Osanada hasn't fallen in love with him. When she sees Rena and is put out to think she is Rokudo's girl, Rokudo thinks that because she doesn't understand the concept of love, that's why the spell doesn't activate. The girls are about to get dirty, but Rokudo will not allow that and wants to talk. Osanada has had it, so she punches him. Only her punch is weak. She tests it out on Colonel, and damn, he is sent flying. The spell is working, but in some mysterious ways. Osanada decided to just talk things over, and she took him. Her base is in an old building of the school until they reach her room, which is decorated so cutely. She says she likes cute things, and then when she takes a closer look at him and finds him cute, Rokudo believes the spell is taking effect. However, this also gives him a flashback to his first love. His childhood friend, Miyu, was a prim and proper girl. Until a few years later, she got a boyfriend and turned into a delinquent. 100% changed into a different person. He doesn't want the same to befall Osanada since she is showing signs that she might be falling for him. So he decided he was going to turn her into a good girl. Rokudo says it's time to go back to class. Osanada mentions that she got held back twice, so she is actually in the same grade as him. Rokudo thinks this would be a good idea because now that she is interested in coming to class, he can help reform her. In the classroom, Ms. Wei asks the students what extracurricular activity they want to do and if they have any ideas. Rokudo suggests doing flower observations because there are a lot of different flowers in the school garden. However, some punks dislike the idea, so Osanada calls them out and wants to beat them out. Of course, Rokudo says violence is bad, so Osanada backs down and votes in favor of his idea. Rana supports his idea and everybody also agrees. Afterwards, the whole class observed the flower garden. Days have passed, and all the kids are enjoying the flower journals they created. But soon, one of Osanada's minions, Kurikata, wants her to meet and join up with the Onishima Union, as this is their big chance to become the top and unbeatable. However, Osanada prefers to stay in school and wants to quit this delinquent stuff. Kurikata won't give up yet, so he sets up some of the delinquent classmates to trample the flower garden. When Osanada sees this, she becomes mad. Kurikata betrays them and points out that they're the ones who did it. By the time Rokudo comes to check on her, she has beaten up all those guys. Kurikata says this is her true form, but Rokudo remains stubborn and says she is a sweet and nice girl. This is when Osanada admits that this is what love feels like. She admits she loves him, but goes with Kurikata to meet the Onishima Union guys. Obviously, they don't believe this little kid is tough enough, so see for yourself and learn the hard way how Osanada hands their asses to them. This is all part of Kurikata's way to climb up to the top, using Osanada as his secret weapon. A sad Rokiru seeks Rena's help. She wants her help to save Osanada from bad guys and to not get injured. Rana agrees, and anything for love. As Osanada has doubts about accepting to join the gang, here comes Rokudo. He starts reading the oral report. When other punks try to take him out, this is where Rana comes in to fend them off. Osanada is confused, as she could only stare at the chaos. Then Kurikata throws a few punches at Rokudo. However, he doesn't fall and continues reading until he finishes. Then he tells Osanada that he knows she has it hard trying to live up to her reputation of being the strongest. She doesn't have to do what she doesn't want and can start again at school. Osata protects Rokudo from Kurikata's attack. She tells him she's going to continue school. With the Onishima Union having reinforcements, Rokudo's friends are here to help them escape. The sprinklers are activated, and they throw a sweep full of wax. They take advantage of escaping by the back door, and they meet Inuma, who helped defeat the watchman at that door. Kurikata won't be going with them, as he'll find his own way. As they escape, Osanada notes that she'll give up on Rokudo because she believes he and Rana are already items. She's glad she felt this way about him. Azami Haimno loves police bikes and aspires to be the first to ride one. But she can't wait, so she's dressing all up and riding one now. Meanwhile, Rokudo just got his bike license, so he can go riding anywhere with his friends. Too bad Inuma gives him this lame-looking delinquent bike. Rokudo would love to turn it down, but seeing how he gave it to him as friends, you bet he'll accept this. As he goes for a ride, suddenly Azami rides up and starts whacking his bike. Since she's a bad girl, the charm activates, and in her swooning state, this allows Rokudo to escape. At school, Azami goes to Amori to introduce herself and return the student ID he dropped. Each time she thinks of him as a delinquent, she starts seeing him as her Prince Charming. But Ianuma interrupts him with his new motorcycle, which has a modification on the seat that now has a scorpion tail. Azami asks who is the owner of the motorcycle, and everyone points to Rokudo. She tries to get him to never ride bikes again, but he can't. She starts crying and leaves. Soon after, she returns with a sidecar and wants him to ride. He only obliges so as not to make her cry again. Azami tells him that motorcycles are dangerous and starts to accelerate, leaving Rokudo traumatized. The next day, the colonel showed them his motorcycle and told them about their ride tomorrow. Osanada squeezes the handlebars so hard that they get ruined. The colonel assures him not to worry because he will repair it. In that, Azumi arrives with a new motorcycle and introduces to Osanada that she is Rokudo's personal driver. Azami sees the colonel's motorcycle and tells him that it is beautiful. He also assists him in repairing it. At the end of the day, Azami offers Rokudo a ride to his house. Azami assures that as long as he doesn't ride any of those delinquent bikes, he can ride as much as he wants. Then she tells him her reason for doing so. Apparently, a real police biker saved her from one. It has been her dream ever since then. Azami would love to join his friends in tomorrow's ride, but she has something that she must settle with. On his way back, Rokudo encounters a guy who is asking if he has seen someone impersonating as a police officer and beating up delinquent bikes. He claims many of his friends have been injured by her. Rokudo is shocked to see Azami's picture as the culprit, but Rokudo also recognizes this guy's ring from Onishima Union, so he says nothing further. Rokudo returns to tell his friends all about this, so Colonel wonders if he's going to stick his neck out for every bad girl he comes across. If that is the case, his dream school life will never be achievable. Inuma then describes the guy whom Rokudo met. He is Aoi Furukawa and the third strongest in the Onishima Union. While he is polite and nice on a bike, he becomes a demon. Rumors had it he caused injuries to a motorcycle cop so bad he never rode again. Rokudo decides to speak with Azami, but how can he do it without her contact information? Well, he decides to ride one of those lame delinquent bikes to catch her attention. True enough, she comes chasing them while dressed as a police officer. Luckily, Rokudo shows his identity before she gets unruly. A flashback shows how a motorcycle cop came to her rescue from delinquents. She became obsessed with him and began faking accidents just to ride his bike. But one day, that cop got into an accident so bad that the culprit behind it was Furukawa. That is why she will never forgive him and will go settle the score. Meanwhile, Furukawa and his gang are preparing to take on Azami at tomorrow's rally. Rokudo and his friends contemplate their next move. As Rokudo puts it, it is only right to save a girl when she's in trouble. Because if they turn a blind eye to doing what is right, they'll never achieve anything. The next day in the afternoon, the colonel goes to the park, meets Rana, and tells her that Rokudo is not well, so the motorcycle trip is delayed a bit. She asks him the reason, but he says he does not feel well and leaves. Rana does not believe him, so she sits on the bench for an hour, waiting for him to arrive. Meanwhile, Azami is already engaging in a street race with Furukawa. He then leads her to where the rest of his pack is waiting. He wants her to join him, but of course, she refuses. Azami is not alone now because Rokudo and his friends are here on their lame delinquent bikes. Flashback shows Furukawa bored with life, so he did things that diced with death for thrills, including dangerous stunts on a bike on a public road. Furukawa suggests playing a deathmatch game of tag. Rokudo's friends will try to catch him on a bike. Doing so means they win, and he'll do whatever they want. The catch is that Rokudo will sit with Furukawa on his bike. If he flies off, the game is over, and Furukawa wins. Rokudo takes up the challenge. Look at him clinging on so tightly to Furukawa. The duel begins as Furukawa and Azami race ahead. Inuma and the rest stall the other biker gangs. They crash their bike to crash theirs and block the entire road. Then they do some fist fighting, but Inuma beats them all. When more Onishima Union guys turn up, now it is Rana on a chopper motorcycle, bursting their tires. Apparently, Rokudo left her out of this because she didn't want to get her involved. But Chief wants Rana to help Rokudo and bring him back. Rana, instead, will believe in Rokudo and will wait right here till he returns. More of a Furukawa flashback as he now remembers who Azami is. While he was performing dangerous stunts, a policeman tried to stop him. However, he dared him to catch up, and the policeman can also do some pretty neat stunts. He advised Furukawa to stop because he has become too addicted and dependent on his bike. Furukawa accepts that logic and will follow it if he beats him. But as Furukawa sped up the corner and hit a bumpy pothole, he fell off, although the policeman caught him. However, his bike was heading straight for Azami. The policeman managed to actually stop it from colliding with her. It cost him his riding ability. Furukawa panicked and fled the scene. Now, Furukawa claims that Azami doesn't value her own life and will stop at nothing to seek revenge, as evident in her menacing gaze. Will Rokudo pull off some of his magic to make her stop? Well, he claims he can. He turns around to face her and asks if she is scared, because he is scared of her ending up in an accident and dying. She admits she is, but if she doesn't put herself in such danger, it'll hurt even more. Rokudo says it's okay to feel this way. He is also scared, so let's fight together. Furukawa speeds up at the dangerous curve. He thought Rokudo had fallen off, but he is still hanging on, and Azami has caught him. Together, they emerge victorious. As they return, Rokudo apologizes to Rana for lying, but she's happy he's back. Furukawa's loss means the gang belongs to her. He also gives her the contact information of the policeman, so she can find him. She will also make him live up to his promise, which is that both of them go see the policeman. He may not be able to ride anymore, but he is still doing his normal police job. The policeman was happy to see Furukawa, bringing him to tears. Now it is time for Rokudo and friends to go for a ride. Rokudo rides with Azami, leaving Rana feeling disheartened. The next day, a couple of girls from another school are curious to see that bad boy who can make girls pass out. Well, they're gonna get more of what they bargained for as they see delinquent girls fighting over to carry Rokudo's bag. And then, with Azami coming by in a bike while Rana and Osata busting through the walls, you bet they better run for their lives. In the distance, we hear Ms. Wei narrate that she chose a Mori school because it's closest to where she lives. Now she regrets it because of the delinquents. But making it bearable is because of Rokudo, as he is kind. However, recently he changed, and now he is like the boss of delinquents. As Rokudo and his pals hang out, when Rokudo goes to get snacks, everyone in the room becomes wary of Rana, because she hardly talks to them. But Osata gets it going by asking her several things as she answers like a machine. They found out that Rana doesn't like sweet stuff. Rokudo returns, and she gladly tells him everything he wants to know about her. Her answers are all different now, as she likes the pudding. Later, as the group leaves, Rokudo gives Rana a hair tie as a thank you for always helping him. As Rokudo and his classmates clean the classroom, Rana is excited to be paired with him. However, Osata intervenes to teach her some techniques, choosing to partner with her instead. Her sullen expression says it all. The duo is like tearing down the classroom rather than cleaning it. Eventually, the cleaning is done, and Osata is sleeping on Rana's lap like a baby. Inuma wants the gang to meet up, but he slept in. So the girls meet up first, and because Rana shows up in her usual uniform, Tsubaki notes that Rokudo would love to see her in a different outfit so she can score more points. The girls go shopping for some clothes. Leave it to Tsubaki, the fashion maestro. They meet up with the rest at the cafe as Rokudo compliments Rana's feminine dress. But he thought the reason she didn't wear his hair tie was because it was lame. The reason she is wearing it on her wrist is because tying it up means she won't be able to look at it. Doing so makes her happy, as though she is with him. It's her treasure. Inuma gets down to business in discussing Onishima Union. Because Rokudo has defeated Furukawa, his name is now well known. This means the gang won't let him off the hook, and there are many other gangs too, although Onishima Union is the biggest. The leader of this is Doji Matsugamiya. Inuma adds about the gang's history. They disbanded 2 years ago after losing a fight with another rival gang. At that time, Doji was a nobody, but he somehow managed to rebuild the gang back up in 1 year, and now he is their leader. Inuma is worried about how to fight them, but Rokudo's immediate answer is to apologize. It might sound weak, but to make it clear, he has no intention of giving them trouble. Since everybody agrees to this, it looks like Inuma has to agree on this weak tactic. Meanwhile, Doji and his officers have found the school where Rokudo goes, and Doji is happy to have found Rana. A flashback shows how Onishima Union was destroyed single-handedly by Rana. As Rokudo is trying to figure out how to apologize, Tsubaki comes in with the big news. Those Onishima Union guys are here. But to everyone's shock, they are going to be new transfer students in Rokudo's class. Does this room have enough seats? Other than Doji, the rest of the generals are Yui Yashiya, Kuhei Akai, Wakanasu Kihando, and the Sumi-ri siblings, Reino and Kazino. More shockingly, Doji announces they are not here to fight and is impressed with Rokudo for bringing down Furukawa. He is the reason why they transferred here. Because of misunderstandings, the Onishima Union has become feared, so he hopes the gang can be one that people can rely on. Later, we hear Doji discussing with his gang that he finds Rokudo harmless and no threat. It is Rana about whom he has the chills. Despite fearing her, he still wants to get her to join their team. Rokudo and his pals discuss the Doji's group, but as Chief puts it, despite there are bad girls, after meeting people like Rana, Osata, and Izami, they're all just sweet girls. As Rokudo leaves the toilet, Reino comes in. The spell has an effect even though he's a man. Rokudo now fears it has an effect on bad boys. Reino chases him down and then reveals that she is actually a girl, while Kazino is the boy, and both siblings cross-dress. Anyway, Reino also warns about Doji, who has this strange ability to tell if you are lying or not. Speaking of which, despite his fear, Doji tries to talk with Rana, but she does not respond. He is puzzled that he can't figure her out until Rokudo returns, and he sees her happy expression. He believes Rokudo is the key to her. As Doji and his pals start hanging out, there is a rival school that beats up Amori students, but nothing like Onishima Union couldn't handle as they dish out their punishment and become overnight heroes. The school cultural festival is nearing, and they need a school festival exhibit. Rana stood up and said that the class would be doing a play. With Doji agreeing, everybody also agrees. Later, Kazino confronts Rokudo and thinks he has done something to his sister, as she is acting a bit effeminate now. Rokudo denies it, and he accidentally touches his chest. Kazino freaks out, and to protect Reino's promise, Rokudo paints himself as a pervert, so Kazino beats him up and vows not to let him near his sister. Later, Rokudo and Rana discuss what play they are going to do. Talking about fairy tales, Rana thinks of heading down to the library to get some reference books. It is then that Yashiya comes in to talk to Rokudo. She explains that she joined the Onishima Union because she likes strong men. Long story short, she is attracted to Rokudo and finds him strong. Then she handed him her love letter, but Rana returned. Yashiya leaves as she notes that if there is one thing she hates, it is strong women. She is going to give him her love via a formal challenge. They're making costumes for the upcoming school festival, but they don't have enough cardboard. So Rokudo is out to get some materials for a play when he stumbles into a group of biker girls known as Ruugu. Yes, they find this kid charming and want to hang out. Their leader, Erika, makes some sense of the problem they're giving Rokudo. She explains that Ryugu was once a delinquent group from the next town, but is now a law-abiding biker group that only rides around. When Rana is here to pick him up, Erika jumps to hug her. It's been a long time. Yes, both girls know each other. 2 years ago, when Ryugu was still a delinquent and beating up other groups, they met their match until Rana came along to let off some steam and beat up the enemies. Erika offered to join, but she wasn't interested until she was offered food. With Rana by their side, Ryugu was unstoppable. Erika gave her this wooden sword, until Onishima Union busted them while the duo weren't around. Erika then thought this was the end of the road and disbanded the group before it got worse. Rana left and has never been seen since. She's glad they could see her again, and they look forward to visiting their school festival. As the class made further preparations for the play, suddenly Doji and his generals just walked away. They have their own meetings, based on Kuhei's photo of Rokudo, Rana, and Erika. Now it's time to take action to bring Rana in. Reino wishes to postpone this after the festival, but Doji beats her up for talking back to show her place. Soon, news spread that Ryugu attacked one of their Amori students. Doji announces that the Onishima Union will fight them. Rokudo is not so sure about that until Reino is brought in injured and claims Ryugu did this to him. With that, everybody is crying blood for Ryugu. Doji offers Rokudo to join him, but he declines. As a result, he is socially excluded. He agonizes over it alone, but eventually feels the need to do something. Thankfully, Inuma believes in him as they brainstorm about Doji's ulterior motive. Then they put the pieces of the puzzle together. What do Rokudo and Ryugu have in common? They have Rana. Anyway, speaking of her, Doji confronts her and talks about how her beloved Rokudo is now an outcast. For Rokudo to live his dream of a normal school life, 3 things must happen. 1. The elimination of Ryugu. 2. Doji siding with Rokudo so that he won't be excluded. And 3. The most important one is getting out of Rokudo's life. Because she is the source of his problems, he wants her to join the Onishima Union to crush Ryugu. Fulfill all that, and Rokudo's peaceful school life is guaranteed. Her answer? She rabidly attacks him. Doji is confused that the key did not unlock her heart. As he gets desperate, he gets lucky, saying the buzzword of being considerate of Rokudo's feelings. Conveniently, he recently told her something about being considerate. By the time Rokudo and Inuma rush back to class, Rana is nowhere. Outside the window, Doji tells him that Rana is now with the Onishima Union and will help fight against Ryugu. He dares Rokudo to come down to hell to understand this underworld they are living in, and that he doesn't live in the same world as them. Before Rokudo has time to get depressed, Inuma tells him what needs to be done. This time, he is not alone. Chief and Colonel tailed suspicious girls who claimed to be from the Onishima Union and saw them beat up one of their Amori students. They soon discovered they were the Sumi-Ri siblings in disguise. Rokudo's plan now is to stop Ryugu from coming here. By doing so, they can prevent her fight with Erika as well as get a chance to get Rana back. On the day of the festival, Rokudo's side split themselves to go look for Ryugu. Then Reino comes up to Rokudo and Colonel and apologizes that he has betrayed Onishima Union just to be with them. She is willing to fight her brother because she believes in Rokudo. But Rokudo won't accept this. He wants to go convince everyone together. When Ryugu is spotted, Reino suddenly takes out Rokudo and Colonel. Actually, this is the eldest brother of the Sumi-Ri siblings, Amano. Previously, Reino was confronted by Doji and Kazino about which side she would choose. Because she loves Rokudo and will side with him, that was when Amano popped up and beat out of him to remind her of her place. Now she is tied up and confined, while Kazino is determined on taking down Rokudo. When Ryugu arrives, they are led into the gym, where Hando and his guys are waiting. But this Ryugu is fake and turns out to be Azami and Furukawa's guys dressed as girls. Previously, during the discussion, because Rokudo didn't know how to contact Ryugu, they needed a backup. Yes, Azami was it. Realizing they've been duped, Hando and the gang rush back to the front gate. The real Ryugu has arrived, as Tsubaki tells them to run away. With Amori students also itching for a fight, many manage to get away as Erika trades blows with Yasha. Not until Hando takes a Ryugu member hostage, Erika quietly go with them. By the time Rokudo's side arrives, Tsubaki relays the bad news that Erika has been taken prisoner. Then a call reminder from Doji for Rokudo to give up now, or they'll become Onishima Union's real enemies. This is for everyone's sake, since the only way for everybody to be happy is for Rokudo to cut ties with Rana. However, Rokudo tells him that their happiness is not for them to decide. Even if Doji claims Rana cannot find normal happiness, Rokudo promises to make Rana happy. It's time to get the final plan rolling. As Doji calls for Rana, we see the promise Rana made to join them, and if they so much hurt Rokudo, they'll all die. On the rooftop of the school, Doji has tied up Erika and Riino. Now, Doji intends to force Rana into a fight with Erika, all in an attempt to save Rokudo. At the entrance of the school, Rokudo and his friends tried to enter the building, but the students blocked them. Luckily, Azami gives Rokudo and his friends a ride into the school building. Unfortunately, they were stopped by Hando. Osata will face him while she lets the rest go. Osata tries to talk to him at first, and he knows he is a good guy. However, he starts fighting with her to prove otherwise. He claims Doji is his savior because, before he met him, he was always laughed at for whatever he did or said. Until the day Doji told him to just focus on his strength and let him do all the thinking, all the taunting stopped. That is why he will continue to believe in him and follow his orders. Asanada understands what he is saying since she too was once like that. But letting others think for you will only lead to your downfall. At the end, Asanada lets him punch all he's got at her, but she still gets up. Then she returns the favor and sends him flying. Hando is shocked that he lost a bout of strength. That is his only strength. Without it, he is nothing but a brute. Asanada claims Rokudo has always been there to look out for her. So now he will do the same for her. And she passes out. The rest have now come to Kuhei. Enuma fights him, but Kuhei uses his head to fight and knocks him out soon. Then he continues to beat everyone else except for Rokudo because Doji's others are to hurt anyone but him. So as he breaks Chief's finger, all Kuhei wants is Rokudo's confirmation that he will stay away from Rana, and this will all end. After all this happened because of his choice. Enuma has a flashback whereby he and his friends formed a pack and thought they were the strongest. However, those friends betrayed him when they joined Kuhei just because he threatened their family. Enuma was left to hear Tsubaki's words about this, and that's why he grew to hate weak people gathering together like Rokudo. Chief gives Kuhei a surprise punch and claims he would rather die than abandon his friend. Enuma has his eyes open. He wants to fight together, and he breaks his own finger. This is to throw Kuhei off, since he did not expect Enuma to punch with his broken hand. Enuma lets the rest head off to Rana while he finishes off this guy. Enuma knows how Kuhei fights now, and since he cannot dodge moves he doesn't anticipate, Kuhei takes a big one. Rokudo and his pals now stumble into Amano. Rokudo thinks he will fight this one because of Doji's orders not to hurt him. But Amano notes that Kazino is willing to disobey that order to beat down Rokudo. As Colonel and Chief try to attack Amano, he sniffs them out with a fire extinguisher. Amano then badmouths Reino for wanting a normal life, and Rokudo isn't going to have any of that. As Kazino restrains Rokudo, suddenly Kazino lets McBee free and kisses him on the cheek. It turns out this is actually Reino. A flashback shows how Reino managed to convince Kazino to swap places. A narration on how the triplets were always together. However, Amano was the strongest and the leader, as the duo were always following him in his shadows. It was Amano who taught them how to do makeup and fight. As Amano's pranks get more and more risky, his disdain for the normal life soon has him and his siblings join Onishima Union. Reino fights Amano but seems to be losing out, as all the moves were taught by him. But soon it is Amano who is fighting for his life as Reino shows some of the skills she developed and defeats him. Amano then starts to feel afraid of her leaving him. Reino then shows her tongue and mocks him. Today, she won their sibling quarrel. After all, the Sumair siblings will always be together. Meanwhile, Rokudo has reached the top, but gets pulled in by Yashia in a room with all these torture devices. He thought he would not harm her, but she whips him. She reveals that she doesn't care about Doji's orders because she joined Onishima Union to matchmake. You see, she likes strong guys. She joined this just for that, but couldn't find any until she met Rokudo. In Yasha's eyes, Rokudo looks like Jojo. Big and strong Rokudo Jojo. Then she turns into a queen and whips him more. This thrill is turning her on. However, there are moments where she is afraid of him, thinking he is showing his true strength. Rokudo thinks of using this to his advantage as he tries to lie his way through with his fake strength. Too bad this only excites her more. During all that, she trips and falls out of the window. But Rokudo saves her. With Rokudo looking so much stronger, she is so infatuated that she passes out. I guess we're done with this. Rokudo then arrives on the rooftop. Doji looks surprised at how he got past his generals. Rokudo tries to call out to Rana, but she doesn't listen and continues attacking Erika, who is only defending. Doji restrains Rokudo as he tells him the reason he is at the top of the Onishima Union is because he can give what people want. For Rana, it is violence. Rokudo manages to get in between the ladies before Rana finishes a tired Erika. He tells her to stop since she shouldn't be hurting friends. She understands but gives back the hair tie, because this is where they say goodbye. Rana claims Rokudo is a good person, but she herself is not so. She never understood what he found enjoyable and only found happiness in his company. In fact, she doesn't even call Erika her friend. Rokudo feels sad that this is all because of that spell. He is weak and relies on it. That is why he vows to get stronger so she can have more fun in school. Then Rana leaves with Doji, but not so fast. Rokudo reminds him that he is the one who will bring Rana happiness. Yes, he wants to fight Doji. Doji doesn't mind, as long as Rana agrees. In fact, Rokudo wants Rana to stay out of this. Obviously, Doji beats him up, while Rana can only watch in agony. Doji thinks this will have an opposite effect. The more she watches Rokudo get beaten up, the more she is determined to leave him. Rokudo continues to get beaten up, although he keeps fighting back. This is when Rokudo's friends arrive. Colonel reminds Rokudo that all the people he encountered and saved were all because of his own strength. Doji realizes his own comrades aren't coming and that he has only himself. He takes it that all of them want a piece of him. Well, time for boss versus everybody moment. As he beats them up, they wonder why he is so obsessed with Rana. Time for Doji to tell us his story that he was often bullied. So scared of being a victim, he realized that to be safe, he needed strong ones by his side. So he honed his skills to identify what people want and give it to them in exchange for their protection. The need for Onishima Union, as he started working his way up. However, it was not enough. Until he got a report that Furukawa's group got taken down by Rokudo, although it was Rana who did the work. It was then that he realized he needed Rana, who was the strongest. Rokudo dismisses Doji's words about treating Rana like a machine. He knows Rana treats Erika as a friend, even if she doesn't realize it. Because he notices Rana never used her wooden sword against her, as it is a sign of their friendship. Rokudo's gang continues to fight, get pummeled, get back up again, rinse and repeat. Meanwhile, Erika tries to talk to Rana and ask why she is in love with Rokudo. It is something about him that gives others the power to change. She hopes she can see the kindness he has fostered in her. With everyone continuing to fight back, Doji starts to get scared. The tables are turned. He remembers muttering about Rokudo being a normal person who doesn't feel fear at all. Those words are now haunting him. But what's this? Rana is protecting Doji. She tells Rokudo that she only loves violence and doesn't care about anyone else except Rokudo. It is hard to believe she has kindness inside of her. However, she trusts him more than she trusts herself. This means she wants to be by his side again. Rokudo returns her hair tie and promises she won't regret it. When Doji's comrades come, he starts blaming them for their failure. They failed to protect him, and that's why they lost. He tells them to go away, but they won't. They still consider him his boss. With that, Doji realizes he still needs their protection and calls for a retreat since they lost. In the aftermath, Reino and Kazino enroll in this school. Doji relaunches Onishima Union with a new recruitment drive, and Yashia goes missing. And now Rokudo's class gets on with their Mamoteru play. Rana is forgetting her lines, but she surprises everyone, as for the first time, she addresses everyone by their names. Not part of the script, but everyone is happy. Rokudo notes he will meet more bad girls, but knows he will get by because of his friends. Thank you for watching till the end, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time, and peace out.